Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Jazzy, the video store Sasquatch here, and we are doing another streaming Saturday. Um, I found one on Peacock and one on Paramount Plus, so we're kind of using a little bit different streaming services this time around. The first one we are going to talk about here is Last Breath, directed by Alex Parkinson, starring Woody Harrelson as Duncan Alec, Simu Liu as Dave Yasa, Ben Cole as Chris Lemons, and Cliff Curtis as Andre Jensen, Captain Andre Jensen. A true story that follows seasoned deep divers as they battle the raging elements to rescue their crew, trapped hundreds of feet below the ocean's surface. This is a great true story, to be honest with you. The kind of not funny thing with like the most like whatever the beginning of it, it pretty much tells you this is the most dangerous job in the world, and then it kind of shows you why because you're doing a lot of like the welding and stuff and checking the lines for like deep submerged, way deep into the water, probably as deep, about as deep as we can go, probably a little bit deeper. Obviously, we can go a little bit deeper because we wouldn't want to be killing people like left and right or crushing them like that one play thing. But at the same time, it's like so many things that go wrong. If you kind of like watch Bering Seagold or a couple of those like shows on the Discovery Channel where it kind of shows you like the dredging operations, stuff like this, where all these divers are hooked up to all this equipment, and the equipment is what's keeping you alive. Like as soon as that equipment's done, you're done, and that's what happens here. So like I said, it starts like it tells us that it shows us them like decompressing and then heading into the ocean with the ship. The problem why the ship kind of floated off course to like happen to this guy, he just didn't get back in enough time, and the equipment kind of failed him. And like what the guy told him and how to get him to where to go. It really is pretty good. I give it a C plus. I'm kind of glad I didn't go see it in theaters though, because honestly, I think it would have been a little bit too much. Um, let's see here. Like these true stories, like they're only like like it's kind of gonna be like either like a happy ending or a sad ending. And this one, you just kind of had the feeling it was gonna be a happy ending the whole time, even just watching it in commercials and trailers. It does kind of leave a little suspense at the end to whether what happens. But at the end of the day, they kind of take the wrestling model and send everyone home happy. I think that it's a good spotlight for this job. In particular, I think that the effects they use, like like the bubble and sending them and like using all this stuff would make it hard to act for these actors, and the fact that they did such a well job kind of speaks to the talent that they had on this crew here because they would be constantly, covered up. Um, and covered up and like they're like barely see their faces. Like that's the hardest part of acting is we can't see an actor's face. So it's judge is such a problem to like cast, and why it's still Buster Stallone kind of ruined it back in the day. It just what it is. It is what it is, and I think we are kind of pushing like the bare minimum of like what we're gonna put into a movie anymore, just to like make it a story. I'm not saying this is an important story or that this isn't like an effectful or whatever or an eventful thing to happen. I'm just saying, like, I think that we're just trying to like grow here because I don't even remember hearing about this at all throughout the news cycle or anything like that. I'm sure that like one person in Hollywood saw it and then like I'm gonna make a movie about that, and that's what happened here. But for what it is, it's a C plus movie. I mean, it's just a little bit above average, honestly. I mean, a little bit, just a little bit above average. Like I said, the scenery is really cool. The ship is like awesome, and then it's just like I don't know, just I think that it could have there's just parts where it could have been better. You could have maybe like made it a little bit more I don't know realistic. I don't know. It just well maybe it just wasn't for me. And that's why I feel like that. But it is a great true story. I do suggest checking it out. It is on Peacock. It is short. It's an hour and a half, which is perfect. We love those hour and a half movies. And that one is Last Breath, directed by Alex Parkinson. And the second movie we're going to talk about here is from Paramount Plus. It is The Comeback Trail, directed by George Gallo, starring Robert De Niro, Tommy Lee Jones, Morgan Freeman, and Zach Braff. film producer who owes money to a mobster tries to accidentally kill his aging movie star for an insurance scam so he can pay off his debt, but he begins to realize the movie they're shooting is a masterpiece in the making. It's kind of like a demented producers, honestly. It's kind of like a ripoff. And that, and like you hear these names, Robert De Niro, Tommy Lee Jones, Morgan Freeman, like maybe like 10, 15 years ago, probably would have been a hell of a movie. Today, it just seemed like it was like old men trying to cash in on a payday with like a story that's already been told before. There are some funny parts about it. Um, like I said, it's like a demented producer about the musical parts, of course. De Niro does his De Niro shtick. I mean, Tommy Lee Jones is actually pretty good in this movie. So is Morgan Freeman, to be honest with you. Um, Zach Braff, just kind of like Zach Braff. I don't know, just barely made average. I'd say this movie is like barely a C. I'll give it a C just to be nice, just because the names are on it, and just like kind of move on from it. But to be honest with you, I don't see what this movie is. Like more than like the producer ripoff that it is, and I think that it ripped off a couple other things too. The biggest thing about it is, so we start, and we see that the old guy producer for De Niro and Zach Braff just released a movie, and it is um the like nuns movie, and it's like nuns like kicking ass and doing stuff nuns wouldn't do, and then of course America pickets it and it doesn't sell a dime, and then the guy Morgan Freeman, who's the gangster, wants his money back. It's kind of like Get Shorty with there, so that's another movie they kind of ripped off. Um, and then he shows up to a house, pretty much saying, "I want my money back, money back." He goes to another producer. He kind of tries to swindle him out here of the movie. He ends up like swindling him out of a movie and like trying to make this move. So he swindles out this guy after his movie that he was making. The star of it, Frank Pearson, dies tragically, and when he dies, he has an insurance claim, and for an insurance claim, the guy gets $5 million back. So De Niro's character realizes, oh shit, if I can get like an old enough person in a role and kind of make it dangerous and him do his own stunts, and then just have a stunt go wrong and the guy dies, I can cash out with insurance, pay back this guy, pay back that guy. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where it plays out. They try to kill Tommy Lee a couple times. It just doesn't take because like the dude is like a cat. He just kind of bounces back, which is kind of funny. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. Kind of surprised the people that were involved with it or are involved with it, especially at their age, playing playing the characters that they're playing. It was cool to see Eddie Griffin again though, and yeah, it was cool to see him again. I made sure to make a note to mention that. So that was worth it. Like I said, this movie I got see. I wouldn't even. I would check it out if you're like a De Niro fan because you're probably gonna like it because there's a lot of De Niro shtick. But just the names involved with it, you think it'd be better than it was. It just wasn't. And that is The Comeback Trail, directed by George Gallo. And that is our streaming Saturday for the week. I think we're gonna go see a movie because it doesn't look like the weather's gonna hold up to go to the drive-in this week. So we'll probably go see Thunderbolt. Either way, we're gonna go see a Thunderbolt. I don't know if it's gonna go into the movie theater or the drive-in, and we'll try and get Sinners in for the horror movie night next week. So we can kind of get them all round up. I want to see that movie real bad. Thank you guys. If you comment, if you guys seen the movie below, um, tell me what you think about it. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please have a good rest of your day or night, and please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Comment your top movie picks for Throwback Thursday in the comment section. And see you next time in the cave.